Hello and welcome to day 13 of our 30-day challenge. You're doing so well, we're almost halfway through and you're still with me, so thanks for still being here. So today is challenge day, which is always fun, and today we're going to have a bit of a play with arm balances. So don't want you to freak out if arm balances are something that feels like it's too hard. So when we're talking arm balances, we're talking things like crane, side crane, anything where the feet are coming off the ground. Even a handstand is an arm balance. Not working towards that today, so don't stress out. But it's really just about foundation. And like anything in yoga, we can take it off the mat as well. So it's like in life, when you don't take the time to build a strong foundation, so to make sure you're eating well, you're sleeping well, you're moving well, it's really hard to find time for the things you love. So you're probably, if you're in survival mode, doing the artwork you want to do or finding time to read books for enjoyment or anything like that is really hard. We have to build that foundation first, get that basic stuff right, and then we can fly, and then we can do the things we love. So same principles apply when we're doing any of these challenging poses. We get the foundations right. And whether you fly or not today doesn't matter. If you're pregnant, you're not actually going to even attempt to fly. Pregnancy is like that time where we just cocoon ourselves up and look after ourselves, look after the basics, the foundations. So you'll do the foundations with us, but you won't actually lift those feet off the ground. Our foundations in our arm balances are obviously the hands. So let's start by just coming into a plank and getting it right here. So off the knees, so there's not too much challenge. Press all 10 fingers into the mat, and you'll notice my fingers are spread out, so make sure yours are spread out as well. And we're just going to do a few chaturangas because arms obviously, strength is obviously important. And I just want you to feel, can you keep the palms and all 10 fingers pressing into the mat as you lower down and lift back up? How did that feel? So hopefully you're not finding any of the fingers are lifting. If I was with you in person while you did that, I'd check that everything's still pressing into the mat. Your fingertips are your brakes in your arm balances, so you really want them pressing in. All right, let's work with a little bit of core and arm strength because that's what you're going to need for these arm balances. So exhale it back to your down dog. Pedal it out here just for a moment. And then inhale the right leg to the sky. Exhale, shift the knee forward. So right knee finds right tricep. And then exhale it all the way back. So moving forward, opposite, cross the body. So lots of core work here, but also pressing those hands in and keeping those fingertips engaged as a break. Moving forward, knee to chest, and send it all the way back. Lower the right leg down, left side, inhale it up. Exhale to the knee, to the elbow rather. Send it back. I don't even know what body part's what anymore. All right, cross the body. Send it back. Then draw the knee into the chest. And send it all the way back and lower it down. Well done. Bring the knees down. Let's just take a seat back. Give those arms a bit of a stretch out. Open up through the chest. If it feels good, you can take the neck to one side and then the other. All right. If you have blocks, you're going to do a bit of a play just to feel how strong the belly needs to lift up. So bring the hands onto the blocks. If you've got phone books, they'll work just as well. If not, you can do it on the ground, but the blocks kind of give you a little bit of extra lift up, I guess, so you don't have to work quite so hard. So bring the hands onto the blocks, spread the fingers just like you've been doing, and then press down to lift the knees up. So you're getting some core lift happening. Maybe you can lift right up and then exhale, lower it down. So if you're pregnant, you can just gently press into the blocks, but not lift the knees off. So you're still getting a bit of engagement, but we're not coming up really high. So it's just that general hugging in of the core, not asking your body to do too much at all. If I was pregnant, I'd be focusing more on the pelvic floor here, lifting the pelvic floor as you just press the floor away. Yeah? Let's do a couple more if you're not pregnant. Pressing in, lifting up. Exhale it down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale it down. Inhale, lift up. And exhale down. Well done. Interlace the hands behind the back. Open up through the chest. All right, so let's get onto that challenge. Obviously, working into crane pose, we've got some things that are going to come up. Arms obviously need to be strong. Chaturangas, so doing those push-ups is what's going to get you strong enough to lean into the pose. Core is that lift, so this lift is the exact same lift that you're going to need to work with crane, but also we have that element of fear. So there is a possibility that you may face plant. You're welcome to put some cushions in front of you if you need. But just like last week when we did the challenge, notice what comes up for you. You don't have to move into the full pose, but it can be interesting to see how your mind copes with being put completely out of its comfort zone. So bring the feet up onto the block. All that's going to do is give you a bit of extra height to get the knees up onto the backs of the triceps. If you're pregnant, you're not going to come into crane pose with us. You're going to sit on the block with the feet down, bring the hands to heart and work with malasana, so opening through the inner thigh, and your focus is pelvic floor because you're going to need it. All right, feet onto the block if you're coming to play with us. Hands onto the mat. As you inhale, lift the knees high. They're coming to the backs of the triceps. And you're just going to shift the weight into the hands. Notice my fingertips are pressing in because they are my brakes. And this might be as far as you go. Exhale it back. So as you lean forward, notice the core lifting up. Notice the pressing into the hands. So just notice what comes up when you do these things. And maybe as you start leaning forward a little bit more, what's coming up in the mind as well. So is it fear? Is it, I can't do this, don't do it, this is silly, why is she doing this, this is stupid, I don't like this day, I'm not doing this challenge anymore. What is the thought pattern that goes on in your mind? All right, no more talking. Let's get into it. Knees onto the back of the triceps. Shifting the weight forwards. Keeping the gaze forward. Maybe you can lift one toe off. Maybe you can lift two, and then maybe you can press even more into the floor. When you need to, because it's quite intense on the arms, come back, take a seat. You can even come back to where our prega mamas are hanging out in malasana and lift through the heart. So feel free to have another go of that. There's some time. I'm just going to hang out here. And just really notice what is going on for you. If you're in the squat, you may like to find a bit of opening here as well, just opening up on one side and then the other. If you're still playing with crane pose, good on you. I think that's why one of the reasons I love yoga so much is because there's not really ever an end to it. There's always a new challenge, a new pose to kind of master, although we don't really ever master them in any particular way, because what you might be able to do today, you can't do next week, and you can't do in 3 months' time, or maybe you can, but even better. Like, it just changes all the time, especially when you're a mum, because your body's changing all the time, especially if you're still having babies, still falling pregnant, still going through that recovery period. So I love that there's always somewhere to go. There's always a way to modify the practice, and the challenges that we face on the mat, I'm always learning something new about myself. So hopefully that when you were having a go at that arm balance, some stuff was coming up for you. Try not to judge it, just see what it was for you. Just explore it. That's all we're really doing, is exploring our own attitude and relationship that we have with our body, with our mind, with our spirit, with our emotions. That's all we're doing. All right, so that's it for day 13 today. If you'd like to play with those arm balances a little bit more, I've got some more tutorials on them over in my online yoga circle. So there's ones in there for that crane that we were just doing, and a bit of a flow to get you there first. Some side crane, so where the legs are on the side. Some ekapada, where one leg is out the back. So all different types of arm balances for you. Some more types of challenges if you enjoyed that style of practice. All right, today's life challenge, I'd like you to be brave and share. So we're getting towards the halfway point. Your motivation might be lagging. I'd like you to share in some way what you're doing, because sometimes putting it out there helps to keep us motivated. That cheer on from our friends and our family can really motivate us to keep going. So if you want, put it on Instagram or Facebook, So if you're not comfortable putting it on social media, maybe you just share it in a message either to me or to a friend, your accountability partner, or someone close to you, just to say, yeah, this is what I'm doing. So maybe share a photo of your life project, so what you're working on, or if you're feeling like your arm balances were really rocking it today, show me your crane pose and share that with the world. Make sure you tag me so I don't miss out on seeing all the fun. Enjoy the rest of today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.